this point, I think it's only fair to say that migration to the UK is officially over, because these new changes, mind-blowing. So guys, as most of you know, the UK government released an 80-page document known as the White Paper on the 12th of May 2025, guys. And I have to read all 80 pages, right, before I come out with, the summary of it. I have already released a video about, when it comes to doubling the qualifying period of settlements from 5 years to 10 years. I have already come to explain exactly what they meant and everything else concerning that in the first part of this whole series. So if you haven't watched that video, I'll leave it here so that you can watch. In this particular video, I'm going to summarize the changes that is coming with regards to the work visas, with regards to English language requirements, and with regards to foreigners in the UK that's maybe commit an offense in terms of criminals and all of that. Okay, and then maybe in another video I'll come and highlight all the changes that is coming with regards to the student visa route. Okay, so many changes, guys. I cannot compress all in one video. The video will not end. It'll be a very long video. If you're interested, stay tuned. Stop that. So before I go ahead, let me say that we all know that the White Paper, that is the UK's way of introducing new migration reforms to control immigration. And they said that this was based on 5 key principles. I just want to read the principles to you. That's what they based on, these principles, to come out with these things, okay? To come out with these new visa changes and new immigration rules and policies. And let me read the 5 principles. So the first principle is that migration must come down. I mean, simply put, migration must come down. Legal, illegal, it must come down so that the system is properly managed and controlled. The second principle is that immigration system must be linked to skills and training in the UK so that no industry is allowed to solely depend on foreigners just based on shortages. Now, the third principle is that the system must be fair, the system must be effective, and the rules should be clear in areas such as respect of family life to prevent perverse outcomes that undermine public confidence. And the fourth one is that the rules must be respected and enforced, okay, including tackling illegal and irregular migration and deportation of foreign criminals. And finally, that's the fifth one, that the system must support integration and community cohesion, including new rules on the ability to speak English and the contribution that people bring to the UK. So these are the 5 principles through which they have developed all these new rules. Now, what are the major changes in terms of the work visas, or in terms of skilled worker visas, or in terms of people coming to work in the UK? A lot. Now, let's talk about the first one, okay? Now, they are saying that they are going to increase the level of skilled workers to RQF6, okay? So now, if you're coming to the UK on a skilled worker route, okay, you should not have anything less than a degree, or what they say, an RQF6. Okay, so now let's say you're coming to the UK as an accountant, or you're coming to the UK as an IT personnel. Regardless of whether you've gotten a job or whatever, your minimum educational qualification from your home country should be a degree. So that means people who came to the UK as carers and maybe they had certificates or diplomas, it can't be possible. So that's the first major change. The second one is that they are bringing an end to care worker visas, guys. So now, regardless of what's happening in the UK, you cannot bring somebody to the UK to work as a carer from overseas, even if they are short. No, you cannot bring anybody to work from overseas to the UK as a carer. Okay, that immigration route is now closed forever. Yes. However, let me mention that now they've put measures in place so that the thousands of people in the UK who came on this route and are jobless at the moment because, let's say, their employers have lost their sponsor license, or let's say they came and then there was no job for them, they put measures in place so that these people can be recruited first, okay, by employers in England before they can look elsewhere. Okay, so now that's why if you watch my previous videos, I gave details and addresses on who you can contact if you live in these areas so that you can be prioritized in case an employer needs carers. Okay, so now that's the second major change. They're also saying that they are going to increase the immigration skills charge. So the immigration skills charge is sort of like a fee that employers have to pay those that are licensed to recruit foreign nationals. Okay, there's a fee that they pay. Now they are saying that they are going to increase it. So it's like they're still making things tough for people that rely on foreign personnel to not make it pleasant enough for them to recruit foreign personnel, because now they're going to increase this immigration skills charge fee that they pay by 32% in line with inflation. They're also saying that they're are going to establish what we call a labor market group. So this labor market group, they are going to do a survey or deeper research, okay, into the state of the labor market in the UK and the role that different policies play, rather than them always relying on migration for, let's say, nurses, for doctors and all of that. So they're going to do deeper research. They're going to introduce a new labor market evidence group, okay, to tackle all of that. Now, they're also going to launch new requirements with regards to workforce strategies for key sectors where there's high level of recruitment from overseas. For example, they are going to introduce what we call a temporary shortage list, okay? Temporary shortage list, and they are going to provide time-limited access to the points-based immigration system. So occupations that are below degree level must be listed on the temporary shortage list in order to gain access to the immigration system. So if, let's say, there's an occupation on there that is still needed massively in the UK, the usual requirement is below degree level, they should be on this temporary shortage list before they can, people can get access to it, okay? And remember, they are saying it's temporary. They are saying that for you to even access the point-based system, to be able to apply for, let's say, a work visa to come to the UK, first of all, the job that you're coming to be should be on this temporary shortage list. And then it should be a job that has long-term been on the temporary shortage list. And this is going to be on a limited time basis. So it's not like it's going to be there forever, because they are going to make sure that the employers in these sectors, let's say private hospitals, etc., they are also increasing their recruitment from domestic workforce. They are making sure that they are trying to train more people in the UK. They are trying to invest in skills training for people in the UK so that they end up recruiting from people in the UK rather than overly relying on foreign personnel. So in the interim, let's say there will be access to the points-based system if your occupation is on this temporary list, but it's only going to be for a limited time. But they are making sure that these employers who keep relying on foreign personnel keep recruiting from overseas, they are also investing in training people in the UK to do those jobs, okay? And then they are heavily relying on people in the UK, right? Now, another thing that I think is also good is that they are now going to increase or allow a limited number of people who are refugees, who are recognized refugees in the UK and have the necessary skills to take on some of these jobs. As you all know, the UK, they've always been complaining about, the amount of money that they spend on refugees. They give these people money every week for their, let's say, feeding and all of that, and they provide them with accommodation as well. Some of these refugees are living in hotels and the government keeps spending millions of pounds on them on a regular basis. So now they're going to say that instead of the refugees always taking from the UK government, if you're a refugee, a recognized refugee, and then you are skilled enough, they can also let a limited number of these refugees take some of these roles because they're already in the UK. You should work instead of the UK always getting people from outside. These refugees, those that are qualified, should be made to do some of these jobs like caring and all of that if they are qualified. They're also saying that they know that they want the best of the best to be in the UK. So regardless of all of these things that is going on, they're only going to allow people that are the best in their sectors, very top talents in the world. They are going to give these people still opportunities to be able to come to the UK. So they want the brightest and the best global talents to still come to the UK, right? So in summary, with regards to the work reforms or the work visa system, this is what they are doing. They are going to stop care workers from coming to the UK. No more care visa route. Now they are going to increase the immigration skills charge for licensed sponsors to pay before they are able to, bring people into the UK. And also they are going to start a new labor market evidence group that will do more research into all of these things, the temporary shortage list and all of that. Allow refugees who are skilled enough to take on some job roles and all of that instead of heavily depending on foreign personnel. And they're going to let employers that always rely on foreign personnel to invest in skills training in the UK and to rely more on domestic workforce. And they are still going to give access to people who are best top global talents to come to the UK. So basically, these are the major reforms when it comes to the work visa route. Now let's look at the English language requirements. So with the English language requirements, guys, they are saying that the system must support integration and community cohesion, including new rules on the ability to speak English and the contribution that people bring to the UK. They are going to now increase the English language requirement for skilled workers and workers where a language requirement already applies. So let's say if you're coming to the UK to work as an accountant, you need, let's say, a B1. They are now going to increase it to B2. So all the work visa routes that already had a language visa requirement, it was usually a B1. Now they are moving it to a B2, that is independent user level, in accordance to the CEFR, Common European Framework for References for Languages. Okay, so for those who don't understand, let me explain. So usually, let me put up my IELTS results on the screen. Okay, so usually when you do an IELTS exam, when you get your test report, okay, at the bottom they write, let's say listening, you got this, reading, you got this, writing, you got this, speaking, you got this. Then they'll give you an overall band score, and then at the corner there they write CEFR level. So if you look at mine, listening I had 8.5, reading I had 8.5, writing I had 7, speaking I had 8, and then overall I had 8.0. And then my CEFR level was C1. C1 means I'm a proficient user. So based on what you got in the individual ones and then overall, when they strike the overall, they are able to grade you based on, let's say, it starts from A1, then it comes to A2, then B1, then B2, then C1, then C2. So it's 6 levels, and the highest is C2, then comes C1. So A1 is the lowest. When you get an A1, it means you're a basic user. You can understand simple terms. When you get A2, it means you are a basic user, but you can comprehend commonly used phrases and expressions. Okay. Then there's B1, which is an independent user who can comprehend and talk about family, friends, work, or free time activities, and can discuss travel needs or write short paragraphs based on interests, aspirations, and experiences. Then there's B2, then there's C1. Now they are moving it from B1 to B2. So now you should be an independent user who is able to write documents, who is about different topics, who is able to comprehend important concepts using complicated tests and discuss naturally with native speakers before you're able to get a skilled worker visa. Any skilled worker visa at all. So now that is what they mean by increasing it from B1 to B2. Now they are saying that they are going to introduce a new English language requirement for all adult dependents and students at level A1 basic user. So initially, when you were coming as a dependent, you didn't necessarily have to write IELTS. But now, when you're coming as a dependent of a skilled worker, whatever route it is, you would now have to prove that at least you're a basic user. That is the first level, A1. To align to spousal and partner routes, and will work towards increasing this requirement over time. So over time, they're going to increase it. They're saying that, okay, now if you're dependent, you now have to speak the level of a B2 or let's say whatever. So they're going to keep increasing it. But for now, dependent should be at least at A1. So you'd also have to prove your English language requirements. Now, they are also going to introduce requirements to demonstrate progression to level A2, that is for any visa extension, and level B2 for settlement. So if you need to extend your visa in the UK, let's say you came as a dependent and you were asked to prove that you are at least an A1 user. By the time that you're extending your visa after 3 years, you should prove that at least you are at A2 before you're able to extend your visa. And when you reach settlement, when you are due to apply for ILR, you should at least be a B2. Okay. They're also saying that we are going to increase our existing requirement for settlement across the majority of the immigration routes from B1 to B2. And they are saying that we will reform our citizenship rules by expanding the point-based system and increasing the standard qualifying period for settlement. So for that one, I spoke about them in the first video. They are going to change. They're going to increase the qualifying period from 5 years to 10 years. But there are some little things that you have to note as well that I highlighted in the first video, so go and watch. So basically, with regards to the English language requirement, this is it. Oh God. Now let's talk about foreign national criminals. Okay, people that are not British, they don't have their citizenship here. When you come to the UK and you commit an offense, what happens to you? So let's look at that one as well. So they are going to tighten up the rules that they apply at the border and within their immigration system, and make it easier to refuse entry or to refuse asylum to those individuals who break the rules or break the laws. They're also going to introduce measures so that where people do break the rules or do break the laws, there are stronger powers and proper enforcement in place to track them down and arrest them and remove them from the country. They are also going to simplify the rules and processes of removing foreign national offenders and take further targeted actions against any recent arrivals who commit crimes in the UK before their offending can escalate. They are going to strengthen their border security by rolling out digital identifier for all overseas citizens through the implementation of the e-visas and the new systems for checking visa compliance, replacing the former, biometric residence permit cards. That one we know already. They are going to introduce tighter controls, restrictions, and scrutiny for those who attempt to abuse or misuse the immigration system. Those who arrive with a pre-existing intention to claim asylum on or after arrival, where there has been no material change in their home country to warrant such a claim. They're also going to continue to take steps to tackle illegal working, continuing to surge resources into key sectors where illegal working is taking place, including in the gig economy, and using e-visas and modern biometric technology to support the immigration enforcement rate, facilitated by the 1,000 staff that have been redeployed into enforcement and return since the election. So they have deployed over 1,000 people. So now if you are in a factory working or wherever, you can see that you just be there and then there'll be a raid of immigration enforcement officers coming there and asking you to prove your immigration status, and immediately if you're not able to prove, you're sent to a detention center, and then the next minute you know, you are being deported into your home country. They have been doing this ever since the new governments came into place, but they are saying that they're even going to strengthen that or make it even tighter. It's going to be even more common than before, and they're also going to build on existing banking measures to ensure these reflect advances in technology and work across government to take action against those who have not respected the rules by failing to pay their taxes that they owe. So later this year, we are also going to set out more detailed reforms and more stronger measures to ensure that our laws are upheld, including streamlining and speeding up the removal process. It is right that we take action against foreign national offenders in the UK before they get the opportunity to put down roots in the UK, and that we do what is necessary to protect local communities and prevent crime. So simply put, hey, don't even think of it. Already they want you out. So don't even think of even breaking any rule or breaking any. They want to send you out, but they'll send you out quicker and faster if you break rules or if you commit any offense in the UK. It is so clear here. And if you're an illegal immigrant, you're an overstayer, you are going to be removed quickly, because they have now increased the number of people that are raiding factories and accommodations and all of that to fish out illegal immigrants. And now at the border, they are going to be stricter. And if they think that this person is likely to come to the UK and seek asylum, or this person is likely to be an overstayer when they come, they are going to refuse you entry one time quick and you go back. All of these things, okay? And they're going to, be more vigilant. They're going to use more technology and more advanced technology and all of that to be able to fish out those who are not paying their taxes. It's an offense as well, and all of these things. What are your thoughts? The next and final video on this particular white paper will be on the student reforms, okay? What the changes that they made on the student visas. This is a lot. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.